Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing? It's kind of early in the morning here in California. This will be one of my first videos that I make on this actual channel. I've been making a bunch of videos on my other channel, which is Yahuwah the Most High. And I've wanted and decided through prayer and steady studying to make this ministry. That way anybody that feels led would be able to find this channel and also learn from it, feed off of it, because the Messiah is the true living bread from God, Yahuwah. Okay, now let's just establish a couple of things. The true meaning of the word God has been taken in many different forms where somebody can mistake that name for someone else. Now, when I say God, his true name his form is Eloah. It is Eloah, which is the one true God, the living and eternal one. The Messiah's name is not Jesus Christ. It is Yahusha HaMashiach, which is the Messiah. I may use the term Christ because he was the anointed one, but I will try to stick to the word Messiah as much as possible for those that don't fully understand. And the Father's name is Yahuwah. So basically what we're doing here in this channel is I'm going to just set some of the foundational things, because I know a lot of people, and I was one of them, when you first get started in the things of learning, in the things of being thirsty and hungry for truth, it is very hard to find it at times. Matter of fact, there's so many different avenues and so many different teachings and false teachings that are out there that can really, lead someone astray and not teach someone in the correct way as it should. And I was one of those that was led astray for many, many years. But because of my due diligence in seeking the truth, as where it says in the scripture, if you knock, keep on knocking, the door will be open unto you. Search and keep on searching and you'll find. I believe God, just like it says, the Messiah said over and over again in a lot of his parables, only those that had an ear to hear could hear, but to his beloved, to his chosen, his close ones, the ones that loved him, he spoke direct to. But to the crowd, to the outer, the people in the outside, which was me at one point, he spoke in parables. And the reason he spoke in parables was because to know the mysteries of Yahuwah, you really have to have a pure, open heart, and you really need to seek him in truth, if that makes sense. A lot of people, including myself, tend to just open up the book, which is the Bible, and they just read. And when they just read, they're not really learning. They're not really studying. They're doing it in a traditional form, in a religious form, where they're thinking, oh, okay, well, within they have a sense of pride where, okay, well, I picked up the book and I read it, so I'm good. That's not the way it works. If you're not diligently, truthfully seeking after the kingdom and trying to realize who you are, why you're here, why you were created, who the Father is, and who is the Messiah that Yah sent to establish the real truth and to also establish the kingdom and to establish the commandments that men from the beginning had distorted and lost and had made what I would like to say, they made them to fit their needs. A bunch of men said, no, I'm not really digging this comment right here. I'm not really digging this law or this commandment. I'm going to switch it around a little bit to suit my needs. And this goes all the way back to the millions that were taken out of Egypt and were supposed to go into the promised land, which is an example for us today. We are all in the wilderness. And unless you search God from within and you come from out from under the desires that keep you in your sin, and as the Messiah said, you rent your garment of shame, meaning whatever it is that you continually do that brings you shame, and get rid of your desires, things that lead you into sin, whatever that may be, you will in no way, shape, or form enter the kingdom of Yahuwah. And that kingdom is within. So because we are in the wilderness, we need to get back into the kingdom of the Father. And the only way to do that is to obey the commandments that Christ gave us, because they go all the way back to the beginning. Okay, this is nothing new. Even Christ said, he said, these are not new commandments. These are old commandments, but I'm reestablishing them, is what he said. All right, so let's get into it. I'm already 6 minutes in. I just wanted to, go over a couple of things and just speak on some of that. That way, those that come on here, it's not just right away just going into whatever it is I'm talking about. I wanted to kind of open up on a testimonial part of why, what, where, when, and how. And but let's go ahead and get started. This is going to be the laying the foundation. That way there are no questions, there are no guessing. There is no, I wonder what I need to do to be saved, or whatever it may be. Let's just get right to the point of what Christ taught through the commandments, and we can seek these truths. And in prayer and in truly seeking them and in truly correcting our lives according to them will establish an eternal kingdom for you to enter into. Amen? Amen. All right, so number one, and these are all commandments that were given by Christ. There's not 10 commandments. There's not just 2. There's actually 12. And there's more than just the 2 that establishes all of them. There's actually 3. But we will go through all of them, and then we can kind of discuss some of what they mean. Number 1, thou shalt not kill. Okay, this is a very strict commandment that was given by Christ, that was not spoken of in the Gospels. And if you think about it, there's only 4 Gospels in the Bible, but there was 12 disciples. But not all 12 were spoken of, and they all wrote about the Messiah. So it just makes you wonder, why did they not put the rest of these in there? And why did they keep such important commandments out of the Bible? Well, it's because it didn't suit their needs, okay? And because people are selfish, and because people have needs, and they put their pleasures above what God commands us, what Yahuwah commands us, they kept them out for their own selfish needs, which is a great sin. Because then it keeps you from entering in as well. Just like Christ says about the Pharisees and Sadducees, it says they hold the keys to the gate. Neither do they enter, neither do they suffer anybody else to enter. Which is true, and that's what the churches are doing nowadays. Some of them hold the keys, and they don't share the truth. They don't teach the truth. So we're here to teach the truth. Amen. So number 1, thou shalt not kill. Now, that doesn't just mean people. This is a very strict commandment, and it states, thou shalt not kill anything. And to further this teaching that Christ plainly said, the Messiah, you shall not take away the life of any creature for your pleasure, for your profit, nor to torment it. Okay? And this can be found in the book of Lections, which I believe is, in 41 or 42. You shall not take away the life of any creature for your pleasure, number one, to eat, to enjoy, that's pleasure, nor for your profit. We got all kinds of businesses out here that kill and slaughter animals, innocent creatures, and sell them for profit. You buy them and eat them for your pleasure. And there's many people out there that torment innocent animals or creatures, whatever you want to call it. Either way. So that's the first commandment there. Thou shalt not kill. Okay, and if you partake in what's been killed, in what's been slaughtered for profit, and you take and eat in pleasure, you're breaking the first commandment of thou shalt not kill, because you're partaking in that innocent bloodshed. Therefore, you are dining with demons. Okay, because the demons, the fallen angels, are the ones that taught this religious act, I would say, according to their ways, their evil wickedness, to be able to do these things for pleasure, right? God created all the animals and all the creatures on the earth and gave them the same breath of life that he gave us. Why would he ever say it was okay to slaughter or kill an animal to eat it for your pleasure? He did it. He never did, and we're going to get to that. Okay, the exact Hebrew word for this command, thou shalt not kill, is actually lo terzak, which accurately translates to any kind of killing whatsoever. And remember what I said. Yeah, you may not be the one killing turkeys and killing chickens and killing cows and killing lambs and all that stuff, and pigs and swine and all that. You may not be the one doing the killing, but it doesn't matter. You're partaking in the pleasure of eating them, the pleasure of enjoying that kill. Does that make sense? Okay. Number 2, thou shalt not steal. Okay. And this can be found in Exodus 20:15 and Deuteronomy 5:19. You shall not steal the goods of any, nor gather lands or riches to yourselves beyond your need or use, which is greed. Okay. And which is considered stealing. Okay, so again, you shall not steal the goods of any, nor gather lands or riches to yourselves beyond your need or use. Don't take more than what you're actually going to use or what you actually need. And if you end up having more than what you actually use or what you're actually going to need, make sure you help those along the way that you see are in need. Don't hold anything back from them. And we'll get into that also as well. All right. So here's commandment number 3. Another very, very strict commandment. Number 3, you shall not eat the flesh, nor drink the blood of any slaughtered creature, nor yet anything which brings disorder to your senses. Let me say that again. You shall not, meaning don't do it. You shall not eat the flesh, nor drink the blood of any slaughtered creature. Does that make sense? So what is flesh of any slaughtered creature? Swine, cow, chicken, any bird. A bird is a creature. It's a created being by Yahuwah. Okay? Know ye not that you are the temples of the Holy Spirit? That means everybody, the cats, the dogs, the cows, people, everything. And whoever destroys one of these temples, in the same manner shall he himself be destroyed. Okay. The third commandment can be found in Lections 41, I think, verse 12. And if you go all the way back to Genesis, if you do have a Bible, you can open it up and go to Genesis 1, chapter 1, verse 29 and 30. It says that Yahuwah, once he made man and the beasts of the earth, it says that he has given every herb and every fruit and every seed for meat to sustain mankind. I'll say that again. He gave every herb, seed, and fruit for meat for mankind. That was a law. That was what God originally ordained. Okay, Messiah was a vegetarian. This is what I'm getting to here. Okay, now don't get me wrong. I know that's a hard teaching, but this is why Christ said it's going to be very hard for those that do not hear and cannot see with their eyes, because in order to put on the new garments, and this is why Messiah said you must be like a child, and those that receive me must be as a child, and their faith must be readily available to receive what I'm saying. Because children, when you tell them something, they just believe and they do it. Like they whatever you tell them, they listen to you because they believe in you. Well, Christ is looking for the same thing. If he says something, he needs you to obey him and take him at his word, because he knows, he understands. So again, that can be found in the book of Lections. I strongly suggest that you read it. It is the Gospel of the Holy 12. It is from all of them, written order from the Messiah. And also, just to give you a little bit of history, meat eating began in the 4th century by the Roman Emperor Constantine, which was a supposedly Christian. And he decided to say that, even though the Messiah was a vegetarian and he ate no meat, you can also find that in the first part of the gospel, where it says that he will eat no meat and he will drink no strong drink. Well, if we're to be like the Messiah, why is it okay for us to eat meat? It's not okay. And this is a commandment. So you need to get back right. You need to get back to the original ordained order of what Yahuwah, our Creator, originally established for us here to be sustained on this earth. Okay? Matter of fact, things got so rough with Constantine that he would actually find people that were vegetarians, and he would actually pour molten lead down their throats if any of them were caught eating as a vegetarian. He actually made it a law that people must eat meat. And there's many, many records of true believers of the Messiah back in the day that wouldn't touch pork or anything like that, and they would get slaughtered. They would be killed. Also, guys, Lection 18, it says, "You shall cherish and protect the weak and those who are oppressed and all creatures that suffer wrong." You can also find these scriptures in the Bible. You can find one in Proverbs 15:17. You can find another one in Proverbs 23:20. Find another one in Isaiah 1, verse 11. 15 through 16. And then Mark 6:31-44 was actually changed around. If you go to the original Hebrew and Greek, there was no fish with 6 loaves that Christ broke and shared. It was actually 6 loaves of bread and 7 clusters of grapes, which you'll find in the Gospel of the Holy 12. Again, a lot of things have been taken out of the scriptures in the Bible. The Messiah never taught from the Bible that we teach from, except from the Old Testament, where there's a lot of teachings that are in there. He taught a lot from the from the Dead Sea Scrolls and certain prophets, because that's what he came to do. He came to fulfill the things that God ordained originally. So that's what we must get back to. There's no such thing as people say, "Oh, I'm under the New Testament." I've heard that so many times. You have no idea what you're even saying when you say that. The old is the new is the old. Christ came to reestablish the old and called it a new because he was the living vine. He was the vine that was put into place for us to follow as an example. Okay, we are to be like Messiah, so we're also to be Messiahs for the people that have been divided and sent away from God because of their sin. We've been cast out. We need to get back right. Okay, number 4. You shall not commit adultery. Now, this word has been totally taken apart and taught in a very different way. The exact translation should be something like this, where you shall not make impure marriages, where love and health are not. Excuse me. Nor corrupt yourselves, or any creature made pure by the holy. An example of this would be, and this is a note, fornication is a mistranslation of the Greek. The Greek word porneia, okay, where we get obviously the word porn. The true translation of porneia should be sexual immorality. One such immoral action is intercourse with a woman during her period or her menstrual cycle, which is ritually impure and is a sin. Okay? Should never do anything with a woman when she's on her period or during her menstrual cycle. It is a great sin. She is unclean during that time, and you need to stay away from her. And if you find it hard to stay away, you need to go do something else. Go pray, fast. And when I say fast, I don't mean like don't eat anything at all. No, you need to continually fast and stay away from meats, period. There's no relaxing that law. I wouldn't be able to sit here and tell you that if I didn't do it myself. And I know it seems hard, but there are many people out there that are vegetarians. They make it happen. But I'm telling you that from the beginning of time, God ordained mankind to be sustained by herbs, seeds, and fruits. Okay? And you will be just fine. There's plenty of proteins in beans, rice, all kinds of different stuff. You could get shakes, there's all kinds of things that you can do to maintain your weight and stuff like that. There's no excuse. You either want it or you don't. At the end of the day, you're either going to do it or you're not. There's no excuse. Excuses only satisfy the people that make them. And at the end of the day, I'm not trying to be no motivational speaker, even though I can motivate you. And I can tell you that at the end of the day, there is no excuse. You either want it, you either want to be a disciple of the Messiah and be a follower of Yahuwah truthfully, or you're just going to make excuses and keep going on acting like you didn't hear what I just said. Because I told you plain and simple. There is no flesh eating if you want to be a disciple of Christ. It causes disorder in your life and you will die a premature death. Okay? It causes sickness because you're eating other living things. Okay? They're alive. They have the breath of life in them. It's considered almost cannibalism because they are considered brothers and sisters under the Godhead. They are all creatures of Yah and all been given the breath of life. They all have blood in them. Okay? Number 4, the you shall not commit adultery can be found in Exodus 20:14 and Deuteronomy 5:18 as well. All right, number 5. Thou shalt not bear false witness. You shall not bear false witness against any, nor willfully deceive anybody by a lie to hurt them. Simple enough. You shall not bear false witness. Don't make up some stories that could hurt somebody or put them in a bad spot. Don't ever do that. Just be truthful. If somebody did something that they weren't supposed to, be truthful about it. If somebody didn't do anything, I don't care how much you don't like them or what they did to you or what they did to your grandma or your grandpa or your cousin or your uncle or your best friend next door. You be truthful in what you say. Period. And you will keep this commandment. Okay? All right, let's move on. Number 6. You shall not do, this is one of the 3 that fulfills all the commandments. You shall not do unto others And this is also to animals. It's not just people. This is to creatures also. Don't do to cats, dogs, lizards, frogs, birds, cows, goats. I don't care what it is. They're all created beings by our Father. You shall not do unto others as you would not have them do unto you. You want someone to come scoop you up and cook you and eat you? Then why are you doing it to innocent animals? Why are we, and I say we because I was doing it too for many, many years. Man, I'm 37 years old. I've been eating wrong my whole life. And I was getting sick all the time. I mean, you name it. I mean, it was happening to me. But the truth was revealed to me. So I changed my way of life, and I corrected myself because I do want to please the Father. I want to put him first. I worship him, but I cannot be divided. If I'm going to worship him and follow Christ as my teacher, I must obey all the things that he's commanded me. Otherwise, I'm obeying the evil one. I'm either obeying him or I'm obeying the fallen one, Azazel, Hasatan, the serpent. You're either walking in light or you're walking in darkness. It's one or the other. You cannot do both. You can't have one foot in and one foot out. That's just not the way it works. Number 6, which I already read. You shall not do unto others as you would not have them do unto you. And the saying goes with it, you shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against your neighbor or any creature. Love your neighbor as yourself. I am your creator. And this is in Leviticus 19:18. And then we have in Leviticus 19:34, the stranger who resides with you shall be to you as one of your citizens. You shall love him as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am your creator. Number 7. This is one of the 3 that are very important. You shall worship only one eternal. Okay? And again, let's just establish something here. We do not worship the Messiah. We don't worship Christ. Okay? We worship one. The Father, the Creator, Yahuwah. That's who we worship. I am your God, Eloah, and Father, Mother in heaven, of whom are all things. Reverence the holy name and keep it holy. The Hebrew word for God is Eloah. I told you that in the beginning. It's Eloah. And this is in Exodus 20 verse 2 and Deuteronomy 5 verse 6. Number 8. Honor your father and your mother. You shall revere your fathers and your mothers on earth, whose care is for you, and all teachers of true righteousness. So that means basically anybody that is older than you, that's been here longer than you, that has more experience than you, that can teach you of true righteousness. Okay, respect them, honor them. Don't dishonor them. Your mother or your father either. It doesn't matter how life has been to you, or how bad or how hard life has been to you. And trust me, one of these days I'll give my testimony. I've been through many fires growing up. A lot of sufferings. A lot of sufferings which I still endure. Mainly with my mother. Grew up without a father and all that. I mean, I can go on and on and on. But again, that's for another day and time. Right now, we're not here to speak about me. We're here to speak about the establishment of our leader and the Messiah. Okay? So honor your father and your mother. If you have any, in-depth questions about any of these, feel free to message me or write, and we can definitely get into a study, Q&A, whatever we need to do, we can definitely do. I'm all for that. I am here to feed and to water and to nurture the followers of the Messiah. I feel, God is using me in this channel to be able to do that. So I will keep myself open during the day, during the evening. Just let me know and we'll make it happen, okay? Number 9, you shall cherish and protect the weak. We just talked about that, right? And those who are oppressed and all creatures who suffer wrong. You know how many animals out there that are suffering right now? I can go on and on and on about all these different companies. Zaki Farms, Harris Ranch. There's so many of them out there. It's unbelievable. All these animals out there that are the Father's creatures that he put on this earth are being raised to die. They're all being slaughtered, every single one of them, because they're all for profit. The rich man comes and says, oh, I'm going to raise all these cows, or I'm going to raise all these chickens and these turkeys, and then we're going to sell them to be slaughtered for the pleasure of mankind, because your flesh desires these things. Well, do you not know that if your flesh desires these things, that you have a demon in you that is indwelling in you? You can't eat these things without being indwelt with a demon, because it's the demon, the spirit, the demonic spirit that dwells in you that lusts for these things and is showing and teaching your body to lust for these things, using your organs and your teeth and your saliva and everything else to want these things. You need to put these things away. And we'll get into a deeper teaching with all of that, but that's the truth. And Peter taught about all that. And it's not good. Anything that you do against the Father or the teachings of Messiah, anything against them is of the devil, of the serpent. And you let him use your members to do these things, you go ahead. But don't say you weren't warned, because you are. You have been warned. Again, number 9, you shall cherish and protect the weak and those who are oppressed and all creatures who suffer wrong. Okay, a lot of people think, no, this meant like children or old people or whatever. No, this is for everything. If you see an animal getting beat or tormented or anything like that, you need to go and you need to speak up. You need to protect that animal. You need to stand up for that animal. We should be protesting these businesses out here that are selling and slaughtering all these animals for profit and for people's nasty pleasures and their desires, right? That's what we should be doing. And maybe at some point, if God puts it on my heart to go do that, maybe we will. I don't know what difference it's going to make. Hopefully it'll change some hearts and people will stop investing and buying into so much of that. But it's a long shot. But hey, every step matters. The smallest step matters toward righteousness. Even this is why we're doing this video, right? And this is why you're watching this video. Change will come if you want it. And to be pure, okay, whatever comes out your mouth defiles you, but also whatever you put into your mouth defiles you, because you are the temple of Yahuwah, aren't you not? So if you're the temple of Yahuwah, aren't you supposed to be pure and clean? Don't eat live animals. Don't do that. Don't eat any animals that have blood. Period. Okay, so number 9 actually is in line with the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, except it encompasses all creatures. Okay? So again, number 9. All right? All right, number 10. You shall work with your hands the things that are good and seemly. So shall eat the fruit of the earth and live long in the land. So remember, the fruit, the herbs, the seeds. And you will have long life in the land. If not, you're going to get the plagues from eating meat and all the things that come along with it. There's a lot of sick animals out there. These companies don't care about you. They're going to sell it anyways. So you're going to get that sickness right along with them. Number 11, observe the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Okay, this is a very important commandment, and the Sabbath day is Saturday, and the Sabbath begins Friday night, sunset, until sunset Saturday evening, okay? All right. Observe the Sabbath day, keep it holy. You shall purify yourselves daily. That means wash daily. Keep your hands washed, take your showers, do what you need to do, keep your body clean. And rest the seventh day from all labor, keeping holy the Sabbaths and the festival of our Creator. Now, what that means is, don't put a burden on anybody. Nobody should do any type of work on the Saturday. Now, if you want to preach and you want to go out and you want to minister, you want to help people, or you want to do some good on Saturday, that's fine. You can do those things. But don't put a burden on anybody. Don't have anybody move your furniture. Don't go move furniture. Don't, stuff like that. Don't put a burden on somebody else where you would have them work. The Saturday is for the conscience, for a man to have rest in his mind. He needs to be able to sit and reflect on his life and just sit and be quiet and have silence and have peace and be able to worship his Creator, okay? And do the things that are necessary for that day, okay? This is found in Exodus 20, verse 18, Deuteronomy 5, verse 12. Number 12, last but not least, you shall do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Same as number 6. Now remember, number 6 is you shall not do. Okay, they didn't explain that in the Bible. They just said the golden rule, you shall do unto others or don't do or whatever they said. No, there's 2 of them. You shall not do, and then, so basically that means if you wouldn't want someone to do that certain thing to you, don't do it to them. If you wouldn't want another man to come and try to take your wife, don't go try to seduce and take another man's wife. Also, if you have a neighbor and you would want someone to offer to carry your groceries inside or whatever that means, then go offer your neighbor to do that. Whatever you also would desire from somebody, go offer that to them. Does that make sense? Don't do unto what you would not want them to do unto you, and also go do what you would want people to do for you. There's twofold there. There's one negative and one positive, and we'll get into that in a second. And the one above all of that is to love the Lord your God, your Creator, Father, Yahuwah, with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind, which we just went over that one a little bit ago. You shall worship one eternal. Does that make sense? Okay. So, number 12, we can compare this with as given by Moses, where all chiefly negative precepts. So all the ones that were given by Moses were all chiefly negative. In the laws given by Christ, there are 6 negative and 6 positive. The negative are the external way, which is the outside, in which certain actions are forbidden. So eating of flesh meat, okay, animals, creatures, all that. And then the positive are the interior way, in which certain duties are enjoined, okay? So as the prohibitions are summed up in the negative form of the golden rule, so the commands are summed up in the positive form. Does that make sense? If you need to rewind that, listen to it again, go for it. Now, here's what Messiah finished with. Now, Christ said, my yoke is equal and my burden is light, okay? And it truly is. If you really, really give it some time and be patient with yourself and be patient with Him and be patient with the Father, you will see that it is light. He said, my yoke is equal and my burden is light. If you will bear it, to you it will be easy. Okay? It's very easy once you get going. And trust me, I've been through all kinds of persecutions because I quit eating meat. It became very... it wasn't easy. It wasn't simple. It wasn't, like what is that word? It didn't make sense at first, families making dinner and everyone's eating meat. Now all of a sudden I can't eat that, so now I need to eat something else, or whatever the situation was. It was just very, it just wasn't simple to do, you know? It was hard. But again, if this is something you want to do and this is something you want to fulfill, you'll do it, no matter how inconvenient it is. And trust me, it will be inconvenient. It's not convenient. But Christ already said, those that choose to follow me, you're going to have to pick up your cross and carry it daily. Did he not say that? This is what he meant. It's going to be work. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. You're going with the flow of the river where everybody else is swimming downstream easily. Now you got to turn around, swim against the current, swim against the people, and go upstream. But are you willing to do that? Is that something you're willing to do? Because this is what Messiah taught. It says that the narrow gate is hard and few find it, few enter, and wide is the way that leads to death and easy. But hard is the way that leads to life, which the way is narrow and hard. Okay. But to you, if you'll bear it, it will be easy if you want it. That's what he's saying. If you want it, if you'll bear it, it'll be easy for you. And it has become easy. It's just a simple no. That's it. I don't care who it offends. I don't care who it makes mad or anything. I'd rather offend a person, somebody, than offend the Messiah, than offend my leader, who I owe my life to, Yahuwah. Okay? We owe it to him. Lay no other burden on those that enter into the kingdom. The kingdom is within. Okay? Lay no other burden on them, but only these necessary things that I have commanded you. This is the new law unto the Israel of Yahuwah. And the Israel of Yahuwah is anybody that keeps these commandments. It's not just the Jews or the Israelites or whatever. The Israel of God, the Israel of Yahuwah, is anybody in any nation that will keep these commandments. Just establish that now. And the law is within. For it is the law of love. Okay? God is love. Yahuwah is love. But how can you walk in love if you're not loving his creatures as well? This goes back to that. And it is not new but old. Take heed that you add nothing to this law, neither take anything from it. Verily I say unto you, they who believe and obey this law shall be saved. And they who know and obey it not shall be lost. As in Adam all die, so in Christ shall all be made alive. And the disobedient shall be purged through many fires. And they who persist in sin shall descend and shall perish eternally. Okay? Also, we'll get into another teaching, not right now, but maybe on the next slide, about hell's fire and where people go, once they die, and if they have not corrected their life or have not gotten right yet. Yes, you will go through many pains and many torments in the fire, but you will come back, you will be the rebirth is what it is, and we'll get into more teaching about that. But God, our Father, our Creator, is very merciful. He's not going to send anybody there for an eternity and just forget about you. That's not true. The churches tell people that to get you to keep coming to their church, and to get you to keep tithing to them, and to get you to feel fear instead of get educated correctly. Okay? And they've done a horrible job, and they're all going to pay a heavy price for it because they're teaching lies. But here you're going to learn the truth, because this is from the truth. This is from the light. And this is from Messiah himself. And I will teach you the things that you need to learn and the things you need to know correctly. All right? So that's it for this part. That's all 12. We wanted to establish that as a first video. And as a first form of laying the foundation, because Christ, the Messiah, he is the cornerstone. Okay? He is the cornerstone. And there are many more things to be taught, many more things to learn. But again, Christ said, if you want to be my disciple, you will let no flesh meat enter your mouths. Period. And that is in the book of Lections, the Gospel of the Holy 12, which we will get into later. We're also going to read the Gospel of the Nazarenes, which is very helpful and educational and truthful, because I've done my historical fact finding, and there's so many things. Let's just say, for an example, in the Bible, there's 12 disciples. Example, 12 stones that Christ laid out. Okay. Well, 8 of those were taken out and only 4 left in. Why did they do that? Why did they take out the most important parts that people needed to be taught in the Bible, and then only left those things that they felt were good for them and they felt would be okay and suitable for people? Well, they messed up big time. So is the Bible corrupt? Absolutely. Is the Bible also truthful? Absolutely. There's a lot of true parts in there, but there's also a lot of false parts in there. And again, we will learn these things as we go, and I will teach you slowly as we go, but this is the first and foremost. We needed to lay this foundation because these are the commandments given by Christ that we need to follow. Okay? So again, replay this video, go back to it, ask questions. We can have a Q&A on every video if that's what we need to do. I just want to make sure that you guys are being taught correctly, because again, nobody is teaching these things. I have yet to find anybody that's teaching these exact things except one person that I found that actually taught straight from the hip these truths right here. And like I said, I've been searching and searching and searching, and the more you search, the more will be given to you if you search with a true heart and you're really trying to find the light and the truth. Okay, it'll be given to you. All right, guys. Shalom. Amen. God bless all of you in the name of Yahuwah. And I pray for all of you that you will come to this truth and that you will make the change and you will make the decision. There's nothing holding you back except you. Okay? Don't bow your knee to the weakness anymore and to your desires of your flesh. Okay? You need to discipline yourself. You need to discipline your body. You need to discipline your health. You need to discipline your wants and your needs and your desires. You need to live according to what Christ has taught us. Bottom line, period. No questions asked. All right, guys. See you soon.